right, today I wanted to just talk about slope and unit rate. You'll be glad to know that this is not really a new concept. Luckily, slope and unit rate are essentially the same thing. Unit rates, when we're talking about like dollars per pound, miles per hour, the unit rate of something. We can use the idea of slope, but the one great difference is that we don't have to leave it as a fraction. We can leave the answer as a decimal. So let's look at number one. Number one says the coordinate grid shown the cost of gas at a particular station. Avery and Beatrix partially filled 2 jerry cans separately and later graphed the values from their receipts to determine the relationship between the cost, Y, and the gallons of gas, X, determine the cost of gas. So there are 3 ways that you can do this problem. One is to look at the graph, the grid, and do the triangle, the rise over the run. So the rise was 7.5 to 12.5. So that's a rise of 5. And then the run was 3 to 2. So that's the run would be 2. So the rise over the run is 5 over 2, which is 2.5, which means $2.50 per gallon. Now, if you don't like doing it on the grid, no problem. You can do it by subtraction. You can do Y2, 12.5, over Y1, 7.5, divided by 5 minus 3. Let me write that down. So you would do 12.5 minus 7.5, because remember the formula is Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. And then you would do 5 minus 3. So you're still going to get 5 over 2, or 2.5, which is $2.50 per gallon. Now this one is even better than the slopes we've done before, because do you see how this grid goes through 0, 0? So you can use the point 0, 0, which makes your life even easier, because you can just take a point, the y was 7.5, and divide it by 3, because you're subtracting 0, and get 2.5. Or you could have used 12.5 divided by 5. So that is just a little bit of a time saver for you there. So looking at the next example, it's a technology company. It has a pricing trend. The price of a new product decreases over time. The company releases a new smartphone, and when they do that, it's $680. Ha ha ha. They seem like they're more than $680 right now. And you can determine at how much it's going to cost over the next 5 years, how much it'll be worth. So you can choose any 2 points from the grid. Now this time you cannot use 0, 0. Notice that this grid does not go through 0, 0. So you cannot do that trick. So you're going to have to take 2 price points. So I'm going to take, I'm going to find an X1 and a Y1 and an X2 and a Y2. And you get to choose whichever ones you want. Now they used 0, 680 in the book and 5, 405. I'm going to use 2 different ones just so you have a different example. I'm going to use this first one, 1, 625. And I'm going to use the third one, 3, 5, 1, 515. Okay, there I am. I just use different ones so that you have another example to look at. So remember, slope is Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. So the Y's, the Y2, 515. The y1, 625. The x2 is 3, and the x1 is 1. Now, I could do the bottom easy. You're going to now see that my subtraction sometimes is not the best. So I'm going to take a minute and actually write it out. 625 minus 515. I got negative 110. So now when I do this division, I get negative 55. So that means that the interpretation is it drops a loss of $55 per year. That's what that means. So now, looking at some of the problems in the book. A caterer company orders 150 fresh clams for a banquet serving 100 people and 30 pounds of clams for 20 people. Determine the standard number per serving. So, what are you going to do? Well, you know that the y's are always written first. So you're going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You got to come up with your points. So I'm going to say that my y1 is 150. Sorry, my x is, hold on, let me think for a second. Y's are said first. So my y1 is 150. And my x1 is how many people? 100. And then my y2 is 30. And my x2 is 20. So when I do the formula, I'm going to say 150 minus 30 over 100 minus 20. So if I had a calculator, I would use it, but I don't right now. So I've got 12 over 8. Which is 1.5. So that means I'm going to order 1.5 pounds of clams per person. So I hope this helped you out. Give a try to the rest of these problems in this section. And remember, the answers are in the back of the book. Let me know if you need anything.